Hey everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and today I have something really special for you. I have been sent a box of yarns by Universal Yarn Company, and they just asked me to evaluate their yarn. Now, for the record, they're not paying me to say one thing or another about that. I just want to be clear about that right up front. And the opinion that I give about these yarns is my personal opinion. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see what is in the box. This is always so much fun. They have a handwritten note. How many people handwrite notes anymore? That is super, super special to me. But anyway, let's go ahead and, oh wow. Okay, so I'm going to show you these yarns just real quickly here in the video. And then I'm going to spend some time breaking it down, finding out how this crochets up so that you can see the stitch definition. And I'll give you my opinion on each of these as I go, but I'll just show you right now what we have. This is bee wool, very thick. I think this is a number 6, but I'll show you the label more closely. Here is Uptown Worsted Hues. This is a worsted weight acrylic yarn. And we have Lazy Hazy Summer Cotton. Pretty color there. And we have is it V-I-R-E-O. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. Vero. And this is a tencel, which is kind of a plant-based fiber mixed with 20% wool. We'll look at that. And we have, ooh, Magnolia. I'm going to actually have to wind this with my winder, and I'll show you that, and we'll see together just how easily or not this yarn can wind up for you. And this is a modal and cashmere blend. So it's kind of like a cottony cashmere blend. And let's see what else. We got a lot in here. This is Penna. This is a baby Surrey alpaca. And some merino wool and nylon. We'll get a chance to check that out. Ooh, some pink yarn. This is called Wool Pop. I really love their cotton sock pop, but this is the Wool Pop, and we will wind this one up too and just see how that goes. And we have Cotton Supreme Waves. Look at the colorway on this. This is beautiful, but we'll see how it crochets up in just a bit. And lastly, we have Fibra Natura Flax. And this is, yeah, okay, this is flax. And again, I'll show you up close, and we will see how this winds as well. But let's go ahead and wind this up, and then I will show you how this crochets up, and you can get a feel for the stitch definition and everything. take a look at some of these yarns. I have had some time to swatch with them, and to be honest with you, every single one was a delight to work with. The Cotton Supreme Waves, and this is the one that is self-striping, as you can see here. Let's look at the content. This is 100% cotton, and it recommended a size H hook, which I crocheted with, and I crocheted up this very nice swatch of the tulip stitch, and you can see the color was just starting to change right down there when I started the chain. And this is very nice and soft. You can see that lots and lots of really nice drape, and for a cotton yarn, that is very good. All right, and I really do like the colors of this. I think this would be a great selection for a summer scarf, or perhaps even a lightweight top or shawl. And of course, you know, cotton being a very nice and breathable fiber content for the summer. The size of the yarn is not specified on the label, but I would consider this a DK weight yarn. It crochets and acts and behaves very much like a DK or a number 3 weight yarn. Okay, let's look at another nice and lightweight summer yarn. This is Creative Lazy Hazy Summer Cotton, and as you can see, the color changes on this quite a bit. This is 49% cotton and 46% acrylic, 5% polyester. So it's roughly a 50-50 blend. A DK weight yarn, and let me just show you how it crocheted up for me. This is using the shell stitch. I'll let you look at both sides, and as you can see, lots and lots of drape. It's not stiff at all. I didn't have any trouble crocheting with that. It actually felt very nice. You know how sometimes cotton yarns, especially the dishy kind of cotton dishcloth style, can be kind of difficult on the hands and be a little bit stressful. Let me just show you that this was anything but. So so let's go ahead and put a, let's go ahead and put 2 stitches there. Just show you how easily and effortlessly this crochets up. The other cotton did as well. I think sometimes the key for that is to make sure that you don't undersize your crochet hook so that the cotton is tight. But you can see that that crochets up very well. No stress really on your hands whatsoever, especially again if you keep the hook sized properly for the yarn. So again, the name of this is Lazy Hazy Summer Cotton, and there are many different colorways in this as well. So in keeping with some more summer yarns, we have Universal Yarns Wool Pop. This is 50% bamboo, 35% superwash wool, and 15% polyamide. Okay, each of these has 284 yards or 100 gram balls. I did have to roll this up with my ball winder, which I was quite happy to do. And let me just show you this. This is really nice. Again, lots and lots of drape in this sample. So one thing that was really nice about this yarn is it has this really pretty like silvery white thread wrapped around the fiber, as you can see there. And sometimes when you have things like this, it can get caught up in your hook as you crochet, but I didn't have any trouble with this. I didn't have that problem with this, and I think it's because of the way the fibers are wound just a bit more tightly, which I think is a good thing, and it just keeps it crocheting nice and easily and nice and smooth. As you can see here, I don't have any trouble with the hook getting hung up on extra threads. Okay, another really good choice. Okay, here's an interesting fiber. This is Fibra Natura, and it is flax. The contents is 100% linen. This is a number 3, although it does seem a bit thinner than a number 3 to me personally, but I am not that experienced with working with flax. Each of these balls has 137 yards in it. Here's a closer look at the yarn. It does tend to be a bit stiff, but as I was working with it, I did notice that it does kind of soften as you go. And the more you work with this, and the softer it tends to get. It's a lot like hemp, if you've ever worked with that. And whenever I've worked with hemp, it's been mostly for backpack drawstrings for my crochet backpacks. And over time, they do soften with use. And when you wash them, they soften even more. I thought it would be a lot more difficult to work with this, but it really wasn't bad at all. And some of you may recognize this as the wattle stitch. And, you know, it did work up quite easily. And what's really interesting about this is it's obviously a very airy kind of a fiber. And it holds its shape, even though the hook seems a bit oversized, but it really isn't. It does hold its shape very well. And, you know, it would be a very interesting, you know, fiber to try. So again, this is Flax by Fibra Natura. Now I want to show you another yarn. This is Vario, if I'm saying that correctly. This is 80% tencel, which is kind of a cottony material. It's been manufactured from tree parts, and 20% wool. I was pleasantly surprised with this particular swatch. It reminded me of one of my favorite cotton yarns, and I just love the sheen. And you can see, again, lots of drape, very nice and strong. It feels more like a nylon type material, but with the tencel and the wool, it's going to be very breathable. This could be an excellent candidate for crocheted backpacks, crochet bags, maybe even a lightly crocheted top. Really just about anything. It is a DK weight, I believe. I did use my size H crochet hook. Again, it doesn't say specifically, but this is what it feels like to me. It's very much like a DK weight yarn. They have many different colors of this particular fabric, and I definitely think it's going to be one that I will turn to in the future for some designs. I also wanted to show you just how sleek and smooth this will crochet up for you. And this is using post stitches, which can be a little cumbersome at times, but you can see just how easily the hook slides with this yarn. Very nice. Now I want to show you another yarn. This is Penna by Universal Yarns. It's 50% baby Surrey alpaca, 28% extra fine merino wool, and 22% nylon. Just looking at the ball of yarn reminded me very much like mohair silk blends that I have used in the past. And as some of you well know, I like using the mohair silk blend very, very much. Now, as I was working with this yarn, I was pleased that it did work up easily. Let me show you. It is easy to crochet with. Of course, whenever you use yarns like this, you do need to be sure that you know what you're doing and you know what you're going to crochet, because they're not particularly easy to pull back out. Okay? But as I was working with this, I found, again, that this was fairly easy to crochet and watch. You can kind of pull it out without too much fuss, especially if you oversize the hook the way I did. However, the clumpiness of the look of this swatch was not that pleasing to me personally. I think I really would prefer working with a more of a pure, mohair silk blend. But on the other hand, this has a textural feel, a softness to it that the mohair does not have. So it really depends on what you're looking for. But you can see just the consistency of the yarn on the strand here is not my preference. That's just, again, a personal feeling here. But again, if you're looking for something that's just going to feel amazing and you're not bothered by the clumpiness or the clumpy look of this texture, then it might be something that you'd want to look into. But for now, I'm going to pass on this. Now I wanted to show you their Uptown Worsted hues. This is more of their acrylic. Let me go ahead and show you the material. It's 100% anti-pilling acrylic. And just the little bit of swatching that I did with this, I really, really enjoyed for an acrylic yarn. This is 180 yards in a ball. And it is a medium weight, or it would be a number 4. I don't see the number, but I'm pretty sure that this is a number 4. I treated it as a number 4. Let me go ahead and get my eye crochet hook. And as you can see, there's a lot of really excellent stitch definition with this yarn. And I will say that this is one of the softest acrylic yarns I have yet worked with, which really makes me happy. But it seems to be very durable at the same time. Of course, that's a question that only time will tell. One question I always like to try to answer about a new acrylic yarn is, how many knots are you going to find in each ball of yarn? How consistent was the manufacturing? And that's a question that I will have to reserve for a later date, because I need to try designing something. I'm hoping to design a throw using their solid colors for the upcoming fall. And once I run through, several, 10 to 15 balls of yarn, it gives me a pretty good feel for the consistency of how the yarn is manufactured. So be on the lookout for a new throw coming soon using Universal Yarns, either Uptown Worsted hues or just their Uptown Worsted yarn. I'm really looking forward to giving it a run for its money and seeing how it compares to some of the other competitors. But right now, this feels pretty amazing, and if it's truly anti-pilling, this is going to be a win-win yarn for me. Let's take a look at the makeup of this yarn. This is 95% modal, which is based on tree cellulose, and 5% cashmere. And this is every bit as soft as those words sound. And it was really nice to work this up. Now, there was one little glitch with this yarn that I did not expect, and that is occasionally when I was crocheting, some of these strands would get tangled. This happened to me twice. So you do have to be careful with this. And as I was pulling out the tangle, it didn't exactly pull out very well. So it's a fiber that you're going to have to be, a little on the careful side that you pull through all of the strands. You can see them here. There are several strands that make up this fiber. I believe there's 4 ply there. So that did kind of tangle on me a couple of times. But that aside, this feels amazing, very satiny, and you can see lots and lots of drape. And this is with a lot of bulky cable work here, and you can see just how nice that would be. I was reading online, and it did say that the modal may not be as breathable as 100% cotton. I don't know that if that's true or not. I have not really worn something that is all modal like this is. But certainly for shawls or scarves and things like that, this should be absolutely wonderful. I'm thinking that it might actually be a good candidate for a summer top as well. And you can see, there's a lot of nice give that would work well for a top. Okay, just need to be careful about getting this yarn tangled with these different plies. That's the only complaint that I have on this. All right, well, let's look at one more yarn. The last ball of yarn we're going to be looking at is Universal Yarns Bee Wool. And let's take a look at the stats. This is 60% acrylic, 40% wool. Each ball has 94 yards. They are 7 ounces each. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. This is what I have left after making my sample. This has a pretty nice feel to it. It's not going to be super soft because being the acrylic wool blend, you know, you want it to have some durability. Well, let's take a look at the swatch. It just feels really nice and strong. It's not abrasive to the touch at all, but you know, it does have that wool feel to it. Now, I think this would be an excellent candidate for crocheted rugs, carpets, maybe even a crocheted cabled poof, which is what I have in my mind when playing with this yarn. I think it would be excellent cushion for a rug, and we may have to look into designing something like that with this. So again, I'm really, really glad to have discovered this, and being that it's, you know, 60% acrylic, I think it's going to be a much more economical choice than 100% wool fabric for these kinds of things. As with most bulky yarns, I did use an oversized hook, a size M, and it was relatively easy to crochet with, but just like with, you know, thicker yarns, there is a bit of resistance to them, which is to be expected. So you do need to be careful with how long you crochet with such thick yarns just because of the friction involved. Let me just show you just a quick little sample here. Again, this is fine to crochet with, but the size of the hook, the size of the yarn, it is going to work your hands just a bit more than it would, you know, working with the cashmere modal blend for sure. So you do want to watch that whenever working with this yarn or any larger yarns. Now, this does slip through much more easily than other, let's say 100% acrylic yarns that I have tried. But again, just as a designer, crocheter friend note to my other crochet friends, just be careful with these yarns because you definitely don't want to hurt the muscles in your hand in pursuit of a design or completing a project. All right, now we've gone to universalyarn.com's website. I will have that link in the video description below. And you can see different things you can look at. You can find out what's new, where their yarn is, kits and tools, other branded items that they have for sale, patterns, both free and for purchase, their blog, what yarns they may have on sale. And just to let you know, oftentimes yarns that are on sale for any yarn company are oftentimes yarns that are going to be discontinued. It's not always that way, but in some cases, if you see a very deep discount, make sure you buy all that you need because you may not see that yarn again. And you can learn about their company, and then you can set up an account or learn more about this. So let's go ahead and dig in and look at their yarn. And you can see there's going to be many pages of yarn. So you may want to narrow down your filter. And this is what you can do. You click on this. And depending on the brand you're looking for, the weight of yarn, or maybe you're on a budget and you want to only look at the under 5, or maybe you're not on a budget and you want to look at the fancy stuff, you can just, click the price if you want. I kind of like to look according to the weight. So let's say we're looking for a medium weight for a throw. I mentioned using their Uptown yarn in a throw, and let's say we want to take a look. And this is all the worsted weight yarns that they have. And here's their Uptown Worsted. Let's go ahead and click on this, and it brings up their worsted weight yarn. This is the really nice, pretty yarn with the sheen, and you can get a closer look at it. I mostly wanted you to see the colorways. You can go to the page and see what colorways they have. You can scroll up and learn more about the material it's made of. And of course, this is the 100% anti-pilling acrylic yarn. So that's how you can do a little search, and you can just click on the colors if you want to get a closer look at what the colorways or the colors might look like. Okay, then let's go ahead and back up to more of the worsted weight yarn. Here's some of the cottons. Deluxe, this looks interesting. Deluxe worsted tweed superwash. Okay, superwash indicates it's probably made of wool. Let's take a look at this. The yarn details, click on that. It is 90% superwash wool, 3% viscose, 7% acrylic. It is a lightweight, it's probably a number 3 weight yarn. And you can click on this to get the different colorways and see how beautiful that tweed is depending on the color you're looking for. All right, so let's go back again and let's change our filter here. Let's say we want to look at their cotton. So let's uncheck that. And let's say we want to look at, let's say lightweight yarns and see what comes up. Okay, so now we have the bamboo pop, which I'm going to be using in some tops for the summer very soon. And you can see all the different types of yarn that would be excellent for the summertime. You have bamboo pop, which we know is a bamboo yarn. They have some cotton supreme waves. Let's take a quick look at this and see all the different colors that are available for this yarn. And you can even hit the yarn details over here and see that this is 100% cotton, 230 yards. Lots and lots of information. Even tells you approximately what size hook or size knitting needles that you would use for the yarn, which is oftentimes very helpful. It's a good indicator of the thickness of the yarn. Okay, so let's all go on back. And lots and lots of really nice yarn here. And if we want to hit the filter for something else, we certainly can. Let's see. Let's take a look at the super bulky yarn and see what they have. All right, so we have the bee wool that I showed you. Let's go ahead and take a look at this to see all the other colors that are possible with this yarn. Lots and lots. And this is the yarn that I recommended for a rug, a crocheted rug. I think this is going to be an excellent candidate for the future, or even a cabled poof. So be on the lookout for some really fun things like that. And let's see. But anyway, so you get the idea of how you can find the yarn on the site. I just wanted to be sure that you knew how to get there and how to navigate the site. And if you're looking for any of the social media, it's right up here, and you can just click on that and it'll take you to where you want to go. Well, I want to thank Universal Yarns for sending me this beautiful, generous box of brand new fibers for me to try. I did enjoy this immensely. I think I've made some new fiber friends. So you just may be seeing some of these particular yarns in future designs on the Bonnie Bay Crochet YouTube and the Watch channels. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you're a brand new viewer, please subscribe to my channel. I have hundreds of crochet videos from beginning through advanced. And I also have a lot of beginning knitting videos where I teach you how to knit continental style, which is very, very similar to crochet. So definitely check that out. If you have ever used their yarns, and I would love to hear from you. Tell me, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever your experience is. I would love to hear how your experience has been using Universal Yarns. Well, God bless. Bye-bye.